Sunday night football here on 7 as round 5 comes to a conclusion. Salmon and Primus, two of the best big men in the league. Harford gets the first kick. Hawthorn going to the right of screen, so that's nice for Daniel Harford. McCabe takes the hand pass and pokes it up high inside 50. Joel Smith is waiting down in front, but it doesn't come his way. It is Wanganeen in trouble, pushes towards Mead, who heads towards the boundary line. He may want to get there very, very quickly. Chick couldn't take it cleanly, taken over the line, and we've got a throw in Hawthorn's right forward pocket region.
Sandy, just on conditions, the wind is favouring Hawthorn's, probably worth about 1 goal, and Port won the toss and kicked into it.
Thank you, Abba. Still in the forward pocket. They won't kick into it, they'll kick with it, won't they? Confuse me there for a moment. Taylor. Centering ball, clever kick. Has given away a little bit of ground, but he's got the big fish. 55 out. Paul Salmon.
Well, he knows how to kick goals, there's no doubt about that. It surprises me that Hawthorn haven't used Paul Salmon pushing forward more often over the last couple of years. He's played mainly as a ruckman, played very well, but he's no stranger to that forward area. And Michael Wilson giving Shane Crawford a bit of a workover in the foreground here.
A career that has seen him kick 543 goals. He's kicking from right on 50. He's away to the right. Marked just over the line, and it's 1 goal.
Well, the problem for the Hawks here is, as we saw, the big fish looking for somebody, a tall marking target. He's got Trent Crode, who can take a huge leap, but he's probably better on the lead. But without Holland or Thompson, they're going to have to get most of their goals from the midfield and the smaller type players.
Paxman back in town. Primus edged out. Mead is away. Primus slow to pick himself up. Mead, a high punt in towards the centre of the ground. Drops a little short, but this is going to be okay. Barnaby French is away. Gives it off towards Peter Burgoyne. He loses it. Taken to ground. Barnaby French pounces on him and asks the question, and he gets the answer in the affirmative.
Well, it's a tough ruling, that one, isn't it?
Gang tackled by he and Burgoyne. Primus up and marking just forward of centre. Port going into the slight breeze, remember. This is Montgomery.
Primus will push forward again. He's created a bit of trouble for teams in the last couple of weeks by doing that. Montgomery, well, he's very, very popular around the club. He's a good, strong mark, and he knows how to kick goals too. He's been a real live wire to Port Adelaide.
His accuracy's been a little questionable so far this year. He's booted 5 goals, 6. The former Bulldog. Too far out, so he's just going short.
He's gone to Fabian Francis, who is a magnificent
He can kick, can't he? And he too has gone short, so they've gone into a little triangle here, and it's landed with Primus.
Well, with a couple of tools out, the Hawks are going to be stretched, and they've robbed their back line of Trent Crode. So you would imagine a guy like Barnaby French could just expose him if he can get his hands on the ball early.
Goes close to the man on the mark. That is a big kick into this breeze, but in going for the extra distance, he's just pulled it away to the left.
Yeah, Matthew Primus is so important to Port Adelaide, and you can see the last couple of weeks his form and his confidence really starting to return.
Graham on the bench for Port Adelaide, Jared Schofield, Danny Morton, Jared Polton, and the young Chad Corns.
Treadray, Salmon tries to take it out of his arms. He almost succeeded. Treadray goes again. They've got him on the ground, and he's gone. Gee, that's tough, isn't it, Graham?
Well, it's real desperation. He's gone after the ball. He's won the ball on the ground, and they've held it in. He's been penalised for it.
Barry Young, it is, who takes advantage of it. Gives it to Colicker, kicks it in towards the centre. The Hawks, as we've said, going with the aid of the slight breeze. In towards the 50 now. They've got the numbers there. No mark is taken. Picked up hurriedly for the Hawks by Jade Rawlings. Rawlings' snap goes across the face of goal and swings away. It's out in the left forward pocket. We've got to throw it.
Well, he had a little bit more time than he thought, even though the fumble was crucial, but he still had a bit more time to balance.
Yeah, Trent Crode also running free. But early in the match, sometimes you've got to take your opportunities.
And missing that one was Johnny Barker.
Sandy, the Hawthorn interchange bench, Aaron Lloyd, Luke McFarlane, Anthony Rock and Stephen Road, and both teams are wearing white shorts.
Very good.
I asked the Port Adelaide media person, and she said the AFL suggested on Monday that was the colour Port Adelaide would wear.
Okay, John Barker, that's his first blemish for the season. Oh, what a fly! Oh, they're the sort of leaps that can send Graham Corns into singing Johnny Be Good. McCabe couldn't take it, but he applied the tackle. Comes back to McCabe once more. Quick hand pass off to Conacher. Loses. That is good pressure. Here's Bode on the outer side. Running now with Tredray. Tredray looks in towards the forward line. Taylor getting back for the Hawks. He's got to be quick. It bounces clear. He may lose it. He needs support. And he has got it. Nice little tidy up for the Hawks now. They could come away to Rawlings. Eventually picks it up. Changes direction just for the moment. Crawford and Co settle on the half-back line. Wilson smashes it down. Crawford waited, and he eventually sees Wilson come again and push it over the line.
Michael Wilson, Cornsey, appears to have just matured a bit in the last 12 months or so, and he really is doing a tremendous job in midfield, not being, I guess, blanketed by that defensive role.
He had a problem with illness for a year, and it took him a while to get fully fit. He's a wonderful player.
Well done by French to get it across to Wanganeen. In towards the forward line once again, a big pack of players, but who's waiting down? They need a crummer. It's almost thrown out. Back it comes to Fabian Francis. He snaps at goal, and he's kicked the first for the night.
He's done some damage the last couple of weeks, Fabian Francis, running forward, starting on the wing. And with the beautiful penetration he's got with his leg, he's very dangerous. But this is just pressure at ground level. Bodie overrunning it, Derek Murray pouncing on it. Good hands from Warren Tredray, good quick hands. And Fabian Francis, as he did for the first 2 goals last week, seizing the opportunity, sizing up the goals, making no mistake.
First goal of the night going to Fabian Francis. Primus and Salmon back in the middle. Won by the former. Pushed down towards Burgoyne. Unable to get it away cleanly. Taylor rips it out of the middle, and he does get a kick. He's had a pretty good start, Richard Taylor, in his 100th game. And the mark is taken by Ben Dixon. Now he's got the slight breezes at his back, so he's within scoring distance here.
And he is the sort of player that if he can get on a roll, get some goals early, he can create a lot of nuisance for an opposition side.
Been pretty accurate too. 9 goals, 2.
Reminds me of a young bomber Hendry, and Aaron Lord on the boundary standing and preparing to come on.
Dixon, he's a left footer and he goes from 48 metres. That's a lovely kick, and you can't get a quicker answer than that.
Well, he's been quite valuable for Hawthorn this year, and he's got some life and some energy. There's something a little bit special about him, although we haven't quite seen it explode and flower, so to speak, but he held his ground well here. The ball comes out quickly, just a rough hurried kick, holds his ground, gets rid of Stephen Daniels, and it looked an easy mark, but he had to plant his feet, and like a lot of good left footers, kicked very truly. Joel
Smith coming from the ground, Aaron Lord going deep into that forward line, and you could just about play him as a full forward tonight, Sandy. He's such an exceptionally talented player. He can be a little bit erratic, but if he gets hot, he can kick half a dozen goals.
Well, it's going to be tested because he's gone down and waiting there for him is Gavin Wanganeen. But he's on, and Joel Smith having a spell. Pushed round the body by Chris Barlow. Dixon again. Dixon for goal. Just drifting it away to the left at the last moment.
Good move by Trent Crowe, though. He's a talented player. He's got instinctive skills and abilities, Cornsey.
Not only that, Jared, he's got that explosive athleticism. We've seen his ability to leap, the power that he's got to drive through a contest. A lot of players would have tried to have taken that ball, and that was probably the safe thing to do, but the good knock on to Dixon. Unfortunately, he was on his right leg, which was the wrong leg. Couldn't quite bend it back.
Stephen Paxman back into the Port lineup this week. Again comes towards Barnaby French. A little too far for him. Around the body goes Barker in towards the forward line. Wanganeen and Paxman tested. Paxman wanted the boundary line, but they stopped it. Comes back towards Lyle. He's got a chance now. He's been playing pretty well. Lyle kicks it in towards Bode. Bode's almost in the middle. Poor hand pass. Could be costly. He goes again, and he does well to shovel out to Fabian Francis. That was a good recovery. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Harwood takes the mark.
Just kept playing in front, taking the front position. He's been rewarded.
Look at that kick. That's That's a beauty. And on the end of it is Treadray.
So Mark Howard started at full forward. He came out to centre half forward, then took the mark, and that isolated Warren Treadray. Warren Treadray's hands have been very, very good. He really worked hard to get into the game last week against Brisbane, got better as the game went on, and just one-on-one, as Port Adelaide gave him the room then, was deadly.
Treadray's kick is away to the right.
And if that's the one area of his game he can improve, it's that kicking for goal over 30, 40 metres out.
And I've got to say that Aaron Law didn't last long.
No, he is an impact player. But I like the way Matthew Bode went about his business there. He made an initial blue, but he just kept following the football and ended up just poking it out to Francis, creating the opportunity.
Let's just clarify that. Lord off the ground again. Joel Smith back on. Here's Fabian Francis. Can't he get some distance with those kicks from a standing start? Or Jonathan Hay. He missed the mark. He went to the ground, he got a shove, but I reckon he considered himself perhaps a little lucky. He finds Harford tucked in the back pocket. Daniel Harford looks towards another 100-gamer, and Taylor belted away from him by Francis, and we've got another throw.
A good start by Fabian Francis. He's getting to be a very, very good player as he matures. A real leader in this Port Adelaide lineup.
And he's earned the respect of the coaching panel at the Hawks. Richard Taylor now right up his ginger.
Wilson slapping forward. Burgoyne under the pump. The numbers again favour the Hawks with Harford. Oh, it's on behind play.
Yep. Well,
Crawford and Wilson.
Yeah, Michael Wilson really hassling Shane Crawford. I'm not sure he appreciated it. And maybe the umpire saw the retaliator there.
Can't happen, Graham, can't it? Inside 50 once again. A double-fisted spoil is effective. Harwood takes them on and tries to burst his way through. Came into the side last week and booted 3 goals after having played the day before in the Sandful.
And taken a lot of flack from his teammates for playing better in the AFL than he did in the SANFL. But tell you what, though, in these early stages, this is a good close contest.
Yeah, body language from both sides appears to be excellent.
French, a penetrating hand pass towards Braden Lyle. Got to give a little ground here, but towards Derek Muddy. Socket clear, but in danger. The whistle's gone.
Well, it's debatable there, isn't it? The boots went in. Let's have a look. Is it a dangerous kick?
Yeah.
Yes, you'd have to say
Head's
that.
down there.
Definitely a dangerous kick.
Had it connected, the head would have been sailing through the goals just as we speak.
Montgomery with the ball.
Hawks have got the option of putting Shane Crawford up, maybe even to full forward. They've got to invent something up there this evening.
Kicking from just outside 50. He's booted 5 goals, 6 for the season. He too is off target. Away to the right.
Yes, that slight breeze in his face just putting him off. You know you can kick from that distance normally. The breeze in your face just creates a bit of negativity. The other thing with Crawford, Jared, the half-back is always the best place to put one of your key players who's being tagged.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hay brings it back. Treadray forced to spoil and does so. Chick slaps towards Crawford now. Tucks it under his arm and he's away. His first possession for the night. Takes it up towards centre wing. There's his immediate opponent, Wilson. Clever little towboat to Fabian Francis, who sometimes somehow got out of jail, but in the meantime has been a whistle. And it's a little bit of
Yes, there is.
aggression going on there. And again, Shane Crawford's in the thick of things. Fabian Francis has the footy. Gives it to Wilson. Wilson goes towards left half forward and Kingsley. Steady down, boys. Goes short, that's going to be okay. Primus plays on, he could be in trouble. Caught from behind.
Great tackle there from the Hawks. I think whenever you grab a bloke from behind or you see one of your teammates do it, Georgie, you know it's going to be impacting right across the team.
That's true, but in the act of kicking, pulled down, is awarded holding the ball against him.
Yeah.
Dixon takes a fine mark from Harford, now lands with Chick. He goes long up towards the forward line. Joel Smith is at the back. 1, 2, Trent Crode, 2 grabs, and he's got it. He's an exciting young player, Trent Crode.
Well, he had the sit on Stephen Paxman there. Paxman caught in front, which is not a bad place for a defender to be caught. The kick carried with the breeze, and he just had that little leap. Just watch his vertical leap. Didn't have to be big, just got over Paxman and held it at the second grab.
Emphasises the importance of that tackle.
We've seen him in recent weeks too. He's a real aerialist. He's a big flyer. And he can kick a goal. So Trent Crode has his first for the night, and Hawthorn have their second. They lead by one straight kick.
And we're making a statement, Sandy. They mean business. It was a great run from behind tackle that dragged Matthew Primus down. And, well, a couple of changes now pending. And it looks like Warren Tredray coming from the ground. And Chad Corns, who's got a reasonable pedigree in football, running onto the surface.
Interesting move though. Tredray off.
I think it's blood rule, Sandy, because I saw the umpire, the assistant umpire.
You're right, just under the eye.
Him off.
Yeah, Sandy, he's got a nick under his eye. They're just going to stop it bleeding.
Thanks, Abbott. Chad Corns just coming on then for a moment. There's been a little bit of niggling going down in that forward line for the Power. Murray claimed, and the umpire coming very quickly to take charge. Too high. Murray's got the free kick.
It's been good, Derek Murray.
Yeah, like watching him plays.
And Matthew Bishop, who we're seeing now, played really well last week coming over from Melbourne.
Former Demon. Francis has been very busy early. Corns offers the lead. Goes into the pocket. Kick a little too much carry on it. Graham defends. Comes across the face of goal and finds Raiden Tallis. Tallis from the back pocket. Heads up towards centre wing. Joel Smith was his target. He's got him. No one on the mark, so Smith's away. Takes advantage of a few metres, kicks up towards right half forward. Edged out was Mead initially. Taylor's at the back. Barker was taken out of it. Almost clean bowled was Daniels. It could be costly. Dixon tries to bend it back. He's not successful. It's out of bounds.
Stevie Daniels not getting hands behind the ball, and it's a little bit slippery here. You have to either take clean possession or keep it in front, and if you make mistakes like that against AFL opponents, they will hurt you badly.
Graham, I'm actually surprised. It's down here. It's warm. It's dry. But we've seen a couple of players slip over, and as you said, just saw the ball slip through Daniel's hand. So I'm trying to work out why.
Paxman towards Primus. Almost got a hand to it. He did well to split the pack, actually, Primus. Crawford tries to sock it off the ground. Wilson takes him out again. Mark dropped by Harwood and pushed over the line by Hawthorn in the form of Batty Young.
Abba reckons it's dry, but Abba, at quarter time, I'll get you to feel the turf, because when I was coming in, I had a bit of a feel. I did feel damp.
From the throw in Montgomery, the hand pass is going to be okay. It's a high kick from Bishop up towards left centre wing. Graham gets a cool bounce, but he manages to recover. The hand pass is okay. While Rawlings is waiting on centre wing. He's got it now, and away he goes. The hand pass came quickly from Richard Vandenberg down towards right half forward. It's taken by Daniel Chick. Chick, a centering ball in towards half forward. Big pack of players. Montgomery waiting at the back, and he's got it now. And he's quite happy to just put it onto his boot and concede a behind.
Cornsey, the attack on the footy by both sides has been impressive, but I think the Hawks are just playing at their absolute peak at the moment. They're going to be right in this match if they can just find the avenue to goal.
It's the secret to playing away, Jared, is if you can if you can take the initiative and take the crowd out of the equation. They're handling the ball a little bit better than Port Adelaide are at the moment too.
Mead and Barker both coming in from the side. Bode gets a hurried one in towards the centre. This is Francis again. By-G's picking up some possessions in this quarter. Corns gave a decent old shove, then took a sensational mark.
Just taught his ground, Sandy. What are you talking about?
Taught by his father, the great GS. Have a look at this again.
The hands appeared to be there, I must admit.
Here. Ripley's believe it or not.
Okay.
However, he's got it. And as far as Port fans are concerned, that's the important thing. Almost directly in front. Salmon is leaving the ground as I speak. Cord shoots towards goal. And he's hit the woodwork. As I said, Salmon coming off for Hawthorn, and Stephen Rode coming on, the 19-year-old from Haileybury. Turned 20 last Friday. So a big moment for Rode. After that behind was scored. Primus, Trainer's in the way, and he's gone to ground. For heaven's sake.
Tom Barker got a blood nose. He was up that high.
Let's have a look at this again, because he gets poleaxed there. and interfered with Primus. Barker, as Jared said, got up high. Primus is up, the trainer's up, and Wilson has the pass. Goes onto that trusty left foot. The high bomb in towards the forward line. Where are the Flyers? Big tack. Waiting down his feet. Go! Josh!
Well, it's a pretty impressive style of game when you can bomb the ball into that forward line, and at least if you get a contest, you can create the opportunities. If you've got talented players like Josh Franco, well, goals will follow.
And the kick is to the danger spot. Any kick there, if it comes off hands, if you've got smart players crumbing, they'll do some damage.
And, well, Chad Corns has come from the bench, and Treadray back on.
Just under 7 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Scores locked away. Road into the ruck, replacing Salmon. Sock it off the ground in Hawthorn's favour. Down towards Barker. Edged out of it, however. Wanganeen. An interesting little defensive kick. Over the line. Leaves Jared shaking his head.
I thought he was actually going to pass it backwards to the Port player, but in the end, I think you're right, Sandy. He was just heading to the boundary line. But what about Gavin Wanganeen, Graham? There is I guess, a fair section of the footy community thinks he'd be better placed in the middle.
He just hasn't had enough work to do that. I think into the middle as an impact player would be good, but he's playing his best football from defence, and I think he has to stay there.
Geez, this kid started well, Sandy.
He certainly has. Franco's kick to Harwood. He's been in everything down towards the bandaged up Treadray. Tries to pull it in, then he's got to get it out. Oh, gee, he worked hard then. He was on all fours. Collicker defence for Hawthorn, but credit to Treadray. He went hard. They'll get out of it, Hawthorn, through Batty Young. He's at half-back, flicks it in towards the centre. Smith drops what he should have taken, but Joel goes again. On all fours, he gets the hand pass away. Hawthorn have got loose players everywhere at the moment. Look at Graham. He's on a Sunday stroll. Through the middle he goes, in two minds. Eventually gives it away. Vandenberg looks towards the 50. Crawford crunched in between a couple of Port power players. Hawthorn, however, still have the numbers.
Whoa.
Dixon gives away a 30-metre hand pass. It's back to Graham on centre wing. An interesting forward thrust here. And now they've got the opportunity of going long from the centre.
Well, they've continued to probe the Hawks, and finally they've come up with an option, but the free kick has been paid.
They've flooded this side with players and tried really hard to work it out here. It was a free kick that they didn't need against them. Held up that attack.
Kingsley goes back towards Harwood. Another possession for Harwood. Or put his teammate under the pump with that hand pass. That was Wilson, and Crawford making sure that he earned it too. Harwood goes in again. Collicker in hard. By G, it's solid out there at the moment. Crawford. Tough stuff here at Football Park on Sunday night.
Just a bit of an experience there from Harwood. He gave the handball when it wasn't really on. He had the mark, could have gone back and just taken the safety of assessing the situation from the mark.
Harlow's ball goes down towards Paxman, who's happy to soccer it over.
Sandy, we saw Wilson and Crawford going at it, but about 2 or 3 minutes ago, Crawford and Primus were at it as well, so they've certainly got Shane Crawford thinking about other things in the footy at the moment.
You'd suggest Shane Crawford's out of his division there, though.
Oh, and he just had a slight run in there.
Well, they've got him sucked in at the moment. As Abba said, Shane Crawford now is on the attack physically. He's looking for retribution, perhaps. He's temporarily taken his mind off winning the footy.
And one of those spurious holding the ball decisions.
Chick. Centering ball. Oh, he loves to fly it as our Trent Crode, and he's done it again. He could see the player in front as the step ladder and say no more. And
they did it really well, Hawthorn. They isolated Crode on Paxman, and Stephen Paxman doing the right thing technically, playing in front. But I think he's probably got to go back and play him either from the side or from behind even.
We saw Matthew Primus there. Gornsey not getting back. He's got to be down there to help out.
Directly in front, 30 metres out. He's kicked his second.
Yes, there's a great setup there by the Hawks, and they've taken full advantage of the athleticism of Trent Crode already. And I guess now Matthew Primus will think, well, I've just got to get back down there. You'll see him in the foreground. He's doing absolutely nothing there, running back at quarter pace.
He was the player that was penalised against, though. He was the one that was on the bottom of the pack, so he had to get up and get back. That's the only thing in his defence, Jared.
There's a defence rest.
straight kick in it.
Matthew bowed off. Jared Schofield coming on. Bodie paying the penalty for those loose handballs.
Road again, contesting the Rutworth. Imus. Been playing very well recently. Fabian Francis at the bottom of that pack. He too's had an excellent start to the night, having picked up 7 possessions in the first quarter.
Centre breaks 4 to the Hawks and 2 to Port Adelaide, Sandy.
Interesting to compare Matthew Primus today, Sandy, and the Hawks, the way they've been able to drag him down, even though he's just charging through like a bull at a gate. Last week, the Lions, they just didn't have their attitude towards tackling right, and he brushed them aside.
Burgoyne lost it to Taylor. He kicks down towards half-forward. Daniels goes with a fist and he slaps it almost back to Taylor again. Couldn't take it. Vandenberg in for the assist. Nice little sidestep. He gets clear. Gives it out wide towards Daniel Harford. The lead is on. The pass is good. And Trent Crowe's going to have another shot. This for his 3rd.
They're setting it up beautifully for him. They're giving him space in which to work. They've got power and numbers through the midfield. And when they've got that ball into the centre of the corridor, they're looking for Crowe one-on-one against Paxman now.
Just getting more numbers at the contest, aren't they, Cornsey? And the Hawks, you just have to admire the way they're going at the moment. 6 points up. This would make it 2 goals, just short of 3 of quarter time.
Probably the breeze worth a couple, though.
Came into this game with 3 goals, 2 for the season. And he's now kicked 3 for the quarter. An excellent start by Trent Crowe as the Hawks move to 4-4, 12-point leaders over Port 2-4.
Just see the pressure at ground level here. Great play by Taylor. He didn't take it cleanly, but he just got through it. Vandenberg did very well. Looking in the centre corridor, Harford, exquisite left foot disposal there. And you saw Stephen Paxman. There's not much you could do about that. Good kick.
Two and a half minutes left in this first quarter. Hawthorn by a couple of goals. Probably what the breeze is worth, according to Graham and Abba, the hometown experts. Out of the middle, penetrating hand pass by Burgoyne. Wider towards Francis, poked down towards right half forward. If they could sneak one here in the closing couple of minutes, it would be very, very handy going into the second term. The Crawford hand pass. It's put his teammate under the pump. In fact, it's going to come back. It's with Hawthorn. They're able to drift it back in towards the centre to Daniel Chick. He had Taylor's flying, but he went to ground, and Chick now goes back in the centre. Doesn't matter, he still finds him, and he's still got a bit of space from 55. Crowe again is his target. He was in front, pushes the ball down in front, pressure on the defence. Big Barnaby French wants his captain, Wanganeen. Finds him, pushes it down in front as we know he can. Hawthorn have the numbers here. Wanganeen will go again. A little sucker towards the boundary line. It spins away from Matthew Bishop.
Intelligent piece of play there by Gavin, just getting the foot in and finding the safety of the boundary line. But the body language on the Hawks is just fantastic at the moment. They are gang tackling, they're all up and running, they're getting numbers to the footy, and Port have got a challenge on their hands.
Burgoyne kicks back towards centre wing. Hawthorn ball again. Gee, Fabian Francis was away too.
Played against Mark Harwood.
Against Mark Harwood, Graham.
Yep.
To half forward, Crowe in the thick of things, may get his opportunities. He charges towards, no, he decides to leave it for Dixon. Now what's Dixon going to do? He'll try and bend it back with a left foot check side, and he was almost successful, one behind.
Left footers are good, but they don't have a great record with the check side kick though.
Danny Morton about to come on.
Derek Murray being a little bit quiet in the opening term, and Danny Morton, who does come on and have an immediate impact.
Close to siren time in this first term. Paxman to the outer side. Good-looking kick. Barry Young was the big flyer at the back with the effective spoil. Joel Smith, wearing the old number made famous by Gary Bacanara, has it, and it now finds Harford. Oh, he's got Taylor inside 50, and he's got in.
Been an interesting battle in midfield. Harford's just on top of Josh Franco, both getting half a dozen or so possessions, but Harford getting some ball up forward and creating some goals. We know that Josh Franco got one early.
tell you what, Hawthorn are very good in that 10 to 20 metre area in front of the 50-metre line. They seem to be working to a definite plan to work the ball through that area.
Taylor directly in front. Good-looking drop punt.
One each.
Not a noted goal kicker, Richard Taylor, and she's off the boot. It looked, for all intents and purposes, a goal, but just drifted at the last minute.
4 goals, 6. Paxman again to the outer side. Young again trying to get a run to affect the spoil. Meads at the bottom of the pack. Franco Wanganeen there as well, and Barry Young, who crashed down, is with Darren Mead.
And so far the Hawks haven't been hurt by having the big fish off the ground. In fact, they've kicked a couple of goals with him resting on the bench, which is a double win because they've got score on the board, and also the old man of football is resting up for an onslaught in the second quarter or second half.
Blood rule.
Darren Mead. It's intrigued me though why Ken Judge, and obviously this year they haven't used Paul Salmon more often at full forward, even when he's resting, because there's no defender who could match him. He's played full forward often enough, and I know he left Essendon because he wanted to have a bit more of a role, but as an impact during a game, what better player to put to full forward?
But maybe at 35 he just needs that rest.
Jared Polton coming on because of that blood rule, with only seconds remaining, so they'll be able to patch up Mead and get him ready for the second quarter.
Well, with 6 seconds to go, you would reckon that just about every Port Adelaide player would be in the back 50.
Crawford still having a few words there, this time with Barnaby French, I think.
He's just got to get on with it.
Yeah, 4-6 plays 2-4, and Jared Polton could have just about stayed there. And my word, there's some feeling as Barry Young is restrained, and the umpire's coming in to take charge, Derek Humphrey-Smith, and that's what he's got to do. Because Hawthorn are pumped up, don't worry about that. And Port Adelaide are ready for them. Port looking to make it back-to-back wins, points the margin in favour of the Hawks. Port going to the right of screen. Primus with a big leap, and he beats Salmon. A kick by Wilson is straight up and down. Primus tries to get underneath it. Salmon almost beat him to it. Flicked wider. Bishop couldn't take it cleanly. Very important, the first one out. Down towards the forward line. Out the back, a chance for the power now. Oh, here's a go, Morton. As Graham Corn said, he's quickly into the game, and it's socket off the ground. There's a great start for the power and Treadray in the second quarter.
Well, good work from Danny Morton. He just knows where to get a possession. He kicked to the goal square, and again Warren Treadray isolated one out, looking very average with that bandage across his nose. But just watch Danny Morton run forward here. Palliser takes it, and one-on-one, Treadray getting back. You have to say that Jonathan Hay complained to the umpire about interference there, but it came to ground. All Treadray had to do was get his boot to ball. He did that, and that's exactly the start Port Adelaide want. This is the test for Hawthorn. They played so well in the first quarter that they were going with the breeze. They need to score into it.
Treadray has his first goal. Schofield kicks down towards half forward. Harwood's been very effective. Gives it away to Morton. This time he's claimed. Lose it to Vandenberg, who sweeps it wide to the outer side, and Luke McCabe. The Hawks looking to reply. McCabe's flat-looking helicopter punt down towards Daniel Chick. Bang, down he goes. Look towards Joel Smith, unable to get it out. It's locked up there, and look at them piling upon each other. We have got a ball up in Hawthorn's attacking zone that's at half forward.
Yes, the desperation from Hawthorn to chase and tackle, and we've seen a couple of times the tackle come from behind, cause the turnover. They're not going to die wondering about this game.
Still with a chance. The good hand pass came out. I think it was from Crawford to Luke McCabe, and that's a great shot at goal. And there's the quick reply. McCabe gets his first, and Hawthorn get their fifth. 5-6. Continue to lead by 14 points.
Well, it's a goal caused by pressure at ground level. It caused the ball up. We saw Crawford pouncing on that ball, shooting it out to McCabe. It's a very, very good reply, but they won it simply because they were able to create enough pressure at ground level, win the ball, turn it over, and score the goal.
22 plays 36. McCabe has his first goal. Salmon and Primus to charge at it again. Won by the big fish. The 35-year-old gets it down to his skipper Crawford, who goes inside 50 and finds his mark in John Barker.
It's a beautiful tap. Michael Wilson not standing alongside Shade Crawford at that time.
Two important possessions to Crawford early in this match. It was a worrying sign for Port Adelaide that the Hawks were so much in control of this match, and Crawford hadn't had a kick or an impact on this match early.
Barker one behind for the night to date. It come into this game 6 goals straight. Kicks from 53 metres. Kicks to the right. Now 2 behinds for the match.
It's not normally a difficult spot to kick goals from here at Football Park, but that breeze in their face creating a bit of problems. A few problems, I'm sorry. The guys shooting from there.
15 points the margin. Paxman looks down the field. He saw Montgomery in the distance. Now there's going to be some pressure on here. It's going to be flicked wide. They may get out of trouble here towards Montgomery, who's drifted down towards centre wing. Gets away from Vandenberg. Gives it back to Polton. Back to Montgomery again. They're not out of it yet. Now the hand pass is okay towards Franco. That was clever. Saw Burgoyne. He's on right half forward. Centering kick by Burgoyne is an absolute beauty, but it's belted clear. Fabian Francis tries to intercept, not successful. Here's a kick from 49 metres by Braden Lyle. The one behind.
Yes, well, I think the umpire called a free kick there, called it play, and we certainly saw the rule to advantage. Braden Lyle kicking the behind. You wonder whether it is an advantage.
Graham, how do you see Mark Williams as one of his lines at quarter time was get it, kick it? It just seems Port just playing a little bit fancy.
Sometimes when you're under pressure like they are, the quicker you can move on, the better.
Strong mark by Vandenberg.
They certainly turned the ball over a bit more. Their effective handballs were down over in the first quarter.
Graham around to Rawlings. So they switch play to the outer side. Harford, good attack on the ball. Trying to get over the top again was Burgoyne. Manages to give it away. Schofield is at the back. Oh, that's a great mark by Rawlings coming over the top.
It was a good mark.
Had a good start to the game, Jade Rawlings. Barry Young on the end of this hand pass. He's still across the half-back line from Vandenberg. Looks up towards centre wing and again finds McCabe. Well, there's nothing direct about this at the moment.
Well, Adam Kingsley's got to come up and make the play. You just can't sit back and get Barry Young come up and get the bounce.
Young around the body, ricochets off the hand of Kingsley. Raiden Tallis caught, and he's been pinged.
I think the problem that Hawthorn are looking to work the ball back through the centre of the ground, but when there's no options there, they're caught with that very rough, scrubby disposal.
Franco to Francis. He's got players streaming down the outer side, and he can use them now. Paxman is 70 metres from Crow. Crawford comes over the top. Taylor is there to give the assist. Here comes Wilson closing fast. Gets his kick, but it's under pressure. And out to bounds on the full. Good pressure. Braden Lyle to bring it back in. Off to Paxman again. Paxman is on centre wing at the moment.
He won't want a quick turnover.
He kicks to half forward. Well, he's not going to get it because that was a mark. And this is going to be a kick at goal.
Well, Trent Croder's got to learn from that, and he's got to pay him the respect and come up at least to put some pressure on him. After he's got his first kick, there's really no excuse for still waiting back, hoping for that fluky turnover.
Mind you, that's a good effort by Warren Treadray. He was under all sorts of pressure there. Held the ground, kept his eyes on the ball.
I reckon the way he attacked the footy in that early part of the match set the trend for him. He just needs to get some goals on the board.
This for his second, kicking from 48 metres. It's away to the right. Another behind.
And
no, he's got it. Well. He fooled a few there, and I think the bulk of this Port crowd thought that was a behind too, because it reminded me of that old song, Silence is Golden.
There was no sound at all from the Port crowd, but I must say, Sandy, that's the Hawthorn cheer squad end, and they're not going to cheer it through, are they?
The signs are good there for the young star forward.
So that's 2 goals to Treadray. Warren Treadray getting his second and fooling us. 4-5 plays 5-7. Port doing it into the breeze. Primus held by his opposing ruckman, Paul Salmon.
Yes, and Peter Schwab will be thinking now, do I have to move Trent Crode back onto Warren Treadray?
Salmon and Primus. Well, they both lock arms. Somehow, Burgoyne, absolutely brilliant, gets out of tremendous traffic. That's a disappointing kick from Schofield. Pushed towards Graham, who should get there in time to keep it in play. He does. His hand pass is not good. Treadray's got to beat about 3 of them. He tackles Taylor. He does well, and that was out of bounds deliberately. No question of that. And umpire Derek Humphrey-Smith has said, no, gentlemen, throw it in. But Taylor a little lucky. Have a look again.
Oh, spot on here, Sandy. He definitely does. And look, I think this is, I'm sure Port fans would be pleased the way Warren Treadray is attacking the 1%ers of his game.
Colliker cleverly to Crawford.
He's got one released out the back.
Yeah, that's a lovely kick too by Shane Crawford. He's got Raiden Tallis in the back pocket. Looks out wide and goes up towards centre wing towards Chris Barlow. He overruns it. Bishop. He's deceptively quick, Bishop.
He's the quickest player on the Port Adelaide team. The testing they've done, Sandy.
Well, exactly right. Taylor.
Penalty was paid for a fresh air kick, but the advantage was then implemented.
Rawlings on the outer wing. Hawthorn continuing to charge forward. Up towards centre half forward. The kick towards Daniel Chick. Dropped what he should have taken. Vandenberg pounces on it and he's away. 50 metres, 45. Closing in towards goal. He goes across the face, Richard Vandenberg, and pops through behind.
Yes, Daniel Chick. It was a beautiful kick to him. He had to slide in on his knees, but it was a regulation chest mark other than that.
He had a bit of it.
He saw plenty of it. You have to hold those.
Paxman looking down the middle.
If it comes off, it's a great kick. Straight down the middle. They need to get somebody at ground level supporting.
Harford.
Here it goes.
Schofield. There's been a whistle. There's been a whistle.
Franco just giving away the penalty, and Daniel Harford's attack on the footy has won him the ball, and the Hawks back into attack.
Such a costly turnover, too.
Pumped up, I think, for Harford Taylor tonight for their 100th. Here's a long bomb. That is a sensational kick for goal by Graham, and he's got it.
Well, it may well have been a 12-pointer, Sandy, because the power off and running. And the free kick, which is still being discussed in the middle of the ground, was implemented.
Yeah, the damage a defender can do by running forward, getting out on his own, and finding a teammate who's confident enough in his disposal to use him. It's a beautiful kick by Harford. Released Graham, and it was an equally good kick to finish off.
Mark Graham gets his 4th goal for the season, and Hawthorn, going into the breeze, have kicked 2 very handy goals. Primus again wins it. Burgoyne kicks it into the man on the mark. There's a bit of aerial work by Salmon. Down towards the 50, but repelled by Mead. Back towards a right half forward. Montgomery charges at it. Barry Young's hand pass comes back towards Harford. He goes in where Angels fear to tread.
Knock on.
Graham's hand pass not good on that occasion. Morton claimed. Look at the tackling by Colliker. The delightful little twist and turn. You celebrate your 100, and he gives it to Graham. He's got players running wide. Here's another one, Richard Taylor, 70 metres from home. Spears it in towards full forward. Hawthorn looking good at the moment. Down towards Dixon and Crode. Neither able to take it. Paxman is there. There has been a whistle. Paxman not allowed the advantage. Will come back and he takes the kick and he wastes no time. He goes quickly off to the outer side. Primus has it. Needs someone going through the middle, and he's got Wanganeen low to the ground. He finds Howard in the centre.
Mark Howard just continues to run up and attack the ball.
Here's the lead from Treadray. Jonathan Hay right there with him. Applies the good tackle. Slapped towards the line by Young. Then he keeps it in play to Hay. Goes over the top once more towards his teammate who couldn't take it cleanly. and it opens the door for Port, but there's an effective smother. Here comes Vandenberg, pounces on it now. His hand pass goes over the top. Salmon might not have the pace here. The pressure right on Morton, tries to get it clear, and eventually Vandenberg gets the touchdown and takes it over the line.
Look, this is not pretty football, but Hawthorn are doing everything they possibly can to make the contest. Look at this smother here. Just the desperation to drive at the boot.
Treadray coming over the top. Vandenberg waiting down in front. Kicks back towards Barker. Traps it well but needs support. Look at the tackle by Mead. Look at the ferociousness
ferocity
on it. It's Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen. The English language has just about gone out the window, but the ball's gone up towards half. That was Dixon and co. Oh, this is great stuff. Poulton somehow gets out the back door and goes to the outer wing. 11.5 minutes remaining. Hawthorn have the lead in this first half.
Well, one team has to crack. Port Adelaide are putting enormous pressure on Hawthorn. They're responding. They've held their quarter-time advantage.
The Hawks are just getting big numbers back into defence to help it out. Warren Treadray's not going to be able to take a mark on the lead, you wouldn't think. They've got to have to just bring the ball to ground and get the crummers.
Mead's kick, plenty of penetration. No one able to get out with it.
Just jumped on top of it.
Bode is at the bottom of that.
Graham, you just wander across the centre. Whenever Port Adelaide stops and goes back and has a look, they're just all the options just dry up.
Harford back towards Tallis, who's got it at centre half back. Cruises through the middle. Has a bounce, looks up towards half forward, comes wide to Dixon. He can kick a goal from here. Dixon goes for goal and makes no mistake. Costly one by Port and a wonderful goal for the Hawks.
Well, it started with a free kick in the back pocket, and the Hawthorn use of the ball was tremendous. The use of the ball is good because they have running options. It's as simple as that.
Well, once again, Harford getting some kicks in defence that time, but he's found one of his teammates and just looked dangerous from there on. And this bloke gets the footy. The umpire, the smiling umpire down there, I reckon he's a Hawk supporter, that goal umpire, because every time he adjudicates, he's got a big grin on his face.
21 points the margin, favouring Hawthorn. They're going into the slight breeze. So this is a mighty effort in this second quarter. Schofield tries to rip Port out of the middle. Does so eventually down towards Corns and Rawlings. The latter slaps it clear. Goes again towards Tallis. And he gives it away to Collicker, who looks to the outer side of Vandenberg. I tell you what, Richard Vandenberg's covering some territory too. To Daniel Chick.
Well done.
Polton in a good spoil. Goes again. They try and lock it up. Chick tries hard. Loses the football. Gone. That is desperation. Is he gone? He is gone. The look up at the umpire is one of despair.
Port Adelaide player badly hurt over there too.
Yes, there's a player down as Port bring in another change. Bode coming onto the ground. Big pack of players. Mead was at the back with an effective spoil. Hawthorn set to bring on Anthony Rock.
Fresh legs coming on. He's one of their best hardball getters. And you see here, that is how Fabian Francis has done his leg, and he's probably fortunate if he hasn't broken it.
No, it's a clash of shins. I think he's okay.
He's been in very good form for them, so it would be a tragedy if something was to happen serious. Kingsley gets a hurried kick, but it's straight to the big fish. Paul Salmon, 50 out, chipped short, and it's going to be okay. Here's the new kid on the block. Let's have a look at the kick from Luke McFarlane. Welcome to the AFL, Luke. And the smiling assassin gives the all clear.
That's the way you start. That's his first kick, I would have thought too.
Yep.
One kick, one goal. How many players have done that? But it is simply the pressure at ground level. Kingsley had no alternative but to get the ball quickly. Salmon on the back play. He could have blasted. The kick wasn't quite good enough to McFarlane, but he controlled it, spun around on his right boot, guided it through. But they are creating opportunities by the numbers around the ball and the pressure that they can apply to the Port Adelaide ball carrier.
What a great moment for Luke McFarlane.
Crawford off.
Crawford on the bench.
Well, the Hawks have been doing it in style, really, without him having an impact. Got a couple of nice possessions early, resulting in some goals. So Not a bad move, I think, from Peter Swab, just to grab him off the ground and get him to concentrate.
What a steal by Harford. Sorry, Jared, but Primus looked to be away. And what a smother by Vandenberg. They're playing inspired football at the moment. Port will go forward again, courtesy of Primus out of the middle. Corns is in trouble. Schofield's got to apply the tackle. Back it comes to Corns. Flicks it up towards full forward. And this time the mark is taken by Trent.
Well, it's a vital shot. Another goal the Hawks' way, Sandy. You'd reckon that they'd be taking so much momentum into the half-time break that they would be very difficult to stop. Although, Graham, having said that, a couple of sides were in commanding positions today already that we've seen. Just a fritter away a couple of points.
Fritter. I think you're being very, very generous. Here's Treadrade going for his third for the quarter.
Oh, Warren, Hawks supporters like that one.
Well, there's no consolation, but if you're going to miss, that's the side to miss to at that end. But it's a vital shot on goal.
Graham brings it back into play to Michael Collicker. He's got it in the back pocket. We'll probably go back to Graham again, who decides to leave it for Anthony Rock, who's just come onto the ground. A former Kangaroo.
It's risky.
We slipped. Barry Young should have taken it, but he didn't.
He slipped on Cornsey's patch.
So we found the wet patch that Graham Corns has been talking about. And there's a free kick going to go the way of Matthew Bowe.
It's a risky kick anyway. Barry Young sandwiched between two Port Adelaide players.
The lead is on. Pass is okay, and Montgomery has taken them on.
Busy as always. But you'd suspect this kick is from too wide. And Hawthorn have just smothered, have just absolutely swamped Port Adelaide's forward line area.
Primus off, as you can see there. French coming back on for Port. Montgomery, 45-degree angle. Good-looking kick goes away to the right. Another ball.
Well, if it was a visiting team, the kick would have gone to the left, Sandy. It's notorious at that end for swinging right to left. And both those,
even when the wind's blowing the other way.
Even when the wind is, it hits the stands and bounces back, Gerald.
Oh, goodness me.
Here's Graham. McCabe eventually on the chest.
Graham's an old problem for Port Adelaide. They've had probably 5 set shots for no goals so far in the game. That's the difference.
Rock's kick's going to be tidied up by Michael Wilson. He flicks it back in towards the centre, drops a little short. Clever play by Daniel Chick. That was sensational, and it hurt him too, but by gee, he did well. Back it comes to Rock, still in the centre. Needs someone going past. No, he eventually licks to take it himself, kicking down towards the half-forward line and chopped off by Bishop. Probably should have looked for someone going past, but instead he elected to take that kick forward, found Bishop. He in turn has found Schofield. Further downfield is Paulton. 6 minutes remaining. Back he comes to Schofield. Port trying to set something up. They're down by 25 points. They're kicking with the aid of a slight breeze. They go up towards half forward. McCabe is at the back. And there's only one place he wants to find, and that is the boundary line, and he's got it.
Cornsey, there just doesn't appear to be anybody across that half-forward line who they can target to kick long to. I saw that Barnaby French just ran away from the contest. He's in the ruck at the moment. They're going with a pretty small forward line.
The strategy is to create as much room for Warren Treadrade as possible, as we're doing now. It's a great kick to him, but he just couldn't control it.
Rock clears back towards centre wing. The diving attempt was pretty good by Barker, but he couldn't take the mark. Port have the numbers.
They're kicking
it back towards half forward.
Kicking it down there, Sandy, and the Hawks are just dropping back.
Yep.
Warren Treadrade has got no chance of marking the footy.
Aaron Lord.
It's the Hawthorn work rate. Their forward line players and on-ballers, midfielders are getting back across half-back and then exploding out.
Here's trouble. Kingsley takes the Lord kick. Aaron playing his 99th game. 2-on-1 here, and that's slammed into the behind post. So Aaron Lord, a sigh of relief, but they're not out of trouble yet with 5 minutes remaining in the first half.
And it was a poor kick into that forward line. Chad Corns just making the point that the lead was on. He was alone. Not sure exactly where Adam Kingsley was kicking that one, Cornsey, but it didn't look like he was having a shot.
He's going to Pagan's paddock, I think.
Graham is at the back. Look at the pounce on that. Try and get the ball out of there.
Yeah, the tackles are interesting. For Hawks, 16 tackles to Port Adelaide's 11. You can see that pressure. But you sense that Hawthorn are using the ball better.
4-7 plays, 8-8. Colica flicks it down. Now, he wanted Harford, didn't quite find him, and eventually taken to the line.
Graham, there's been plenty of talk about where Tredrea should play. He's playing out of full forward, but perhaps another big man. Matthew Bishop last week was a revelation his first game for Port Adelaide, and he seems to be finding the ball, and he is tall enough to play key forward position. He could be a chance.
Raiden Tallis pushing towards the line. Montgomery trying to flick it out the back. Oh, Vandenberg thought he was away, but Lyle, Wilson and co had other ideas. Michael, you held it for a long time.
Oh, too high.
Anthony Rock disappointed with that decision, but it was too high. And Tredrea.
He's created the free kick by the attack on the ball. He fell into it, but you've got to put the tackle beyond doubt. There's no doubt he was taken high.
Tredrea then for his third. He's had a couple of shots that have missed, but should be able to convert here. He's 25 metres out. His 2 goals so far in the game have come in this quarter. Looks pretty good. Tredrea has got his third.
Well, they're playing him at full forward. They're giving him space, and Hawthorn are trying to counter that space by pushing their on-ballers and half-back flankers back in front of him. But the ball comes out. It's pretty scrubby. Good pressure by Schofield. Good work by Lyle too. It's just simply the attack on the ball. Anthony Rock waiting, takes him too high. And Warren Tredrea, who has not kicked all that well, converts beautifully.
Very important goal for Port. Tredrea now has 3. Trent Crode has 3 for Hawthorn. Crode 3 coming in the first quarter. Franco out of the centre. Important times now for both sides, especially for Port because they trail. Too high.
Well, that was a bit...
Shane Crawford back on the ground for Hawthorn too.
I just think that was a bit lucky. Both players were going for the footy.
To the outer side. Lord is away. Aaron Lord has 1 bounce. Goes long, wants to try and sneak over the pack, but Maxman is there and takes a fine defensive mark.
He's settled well. He's worked into the game. He had a tough opening with Crode initially, but he's really settled as Stephen Paxman.
Harwood picked up half a dozen possessions. Goes back to Kingsley. He goes back to Lyle. So 3 possessions, and really they haven't gone anywhere yet. Kingsley again makes a little bit of space, 25 metres further down the ground. Longer now towards centre wing, but it comes unstuck. He looks okay, this kid.
The pressure that Hawthorn are applying. Oh, that's a great mark.
Crode went a little too early, and Bishop takes the mark. That was McFarlane before, and he's made a pretty positive start, kicking a goal with his first kick in footy. Montgomery thought about playing on. Now he goes to the other side, and Fabian Francis. Francis looks up towards left half forward. His target was Corns. Has it stolen, however. Chipped in towards the middle, and Howard intercepts. Mark Howard looks down towards Port's forward line. No, he elects to go sideways and give it to Kingsley. Clever kick up towards Wilson. He can play on here, Michael Wilson. 46 metres out. Goes across the face of goal. Daniel Chick elected to try and kick that in. Hawthorn do have the numbers. They should be able to come away. Swept by Crawford wide towards Taylor. He'll look further afield. Another one to Matty Young. Young's in a spot of bother, but not before he gets it to Crawford. Crawford can soccer it clear. No, he's got time to pick it up. Then go back to Young again. He steadies, looks towards Taylor, and he's got him between centre wing and left half forward. Taylor can go on with it. Good football. Spears the pass in towards full forward. Crow takes them.
Well, it wasn't always pretty, but the pressure of the running player and the supporting player created that opportunity for Hawthorn. Michael Wilson on his left foot having a shot at goal, perhaps would have been advised to put it to the top of the square. 45-degree angle. A big kick with just 1.5 minutes remaining in the half. Trent Crode needed to start further right as it swings away to the left and right.
20 points the margin. Good contest here at Football Park. If you've just joined us on this Sunday night. Rain during the afternoon, thunderstorms, and believe it or not, still about 20 degrees. Bishop from the back pocket, high and long towards Barnaby French. Gee, Young got a decent old ride.
The umpire spotted it too.
Oh, there it is again. Just copped the old elbow on the head.
Oh, that would have hurt.
So he'll be pleased that half-time is imminent. To Bishop. Sprints clear, looks up towards the 50, up towards Trent Ray and co. Couldn't take the mark. Here's Corns, shooting in towards goal, and bounces it through. Great goal, goes to the siren.
Yes.
Pump it up, Graham.
Well, I was telling you before the game, son. Look, it was a good kick to Warren Trent Ray. He led, there was plenty of room, and it was simply the space. The tackle was, sorry, the spoil was good.
Now he's excited, Sandy. He's lost his tongue.
But from 50, he's done the right thing. The goal is open, drilled it through, and just as we practiced down at Glenorg Oval all those years ago.
Tremendous goal, and just what Port Adelaide needed. 55 seconds. Can they get another one? An important kick coming out of the middle. Important takeaway. Still time for one more goal.
14 points the margin. Barnaby French goes high. Who's going to rip it out of the centre? French goes again. Fresh air shot. Couldn't take it cleanly. Polden works hard. Comes towards a centre wing. Lord in trouble. He gets dumped by Wilson, but it's socked up towards Crow. He dashes clear. Around the body he goes. Looking towards Dixon on right half forward. Needs a kind bounce. Wanganeen is there with him. Dixon and Wanganeen towards the line. And Ben Dixon puts it over the line.
Good play by Gavin Wanganeen. Didn't overcommit. He just knew he couldn't let Dixon get onto his favoured left foot, and he's just seen the ball over.
He's done it well, and it's probably this sort of game, and about 5 or 10 minutes ago, or even halfway through this next quarter, that should introduce Gavin Wanganeen into the centre of the ground.
Franco's kick to Harwood is good. Harwood goes again, and he gets caught. Beautiful tackle. Locks it up. Graham tries to get out. He's not successful. Fabian Francis takes the hand pass. Goes up towards full forward. Flicked towards the line by Barry Young. Away from Bode, and that could just about be it.
The pressure of the Hawthorn players has been most impressive. We've seen 3 occasions now, the tackle from behind and just stopping the ball dead.
In the left forward pocket, but I think time is against us. There's been a whistle, however.
It was interference.
Yeah, but it matters not because it's in the back pocket. So it's half-time here at Football Park. And a very, very good contest indeed. 14 points is the margin at half-time. Hawthorn have had 2 4-goal quarters. They kicked into the breeze in that second term. They have 8-9-57. They are leading Port Adelaide as 6-7.
Off the ground, so just restructuring that forward line.
14 points the margin as we go into the second half. Salmon got some fingers on the ball down towards Harford. He gets a short little kick up towards the half-forward line. A further one by Vandenberg goes in towards full forward. Paxman dropped it, but he's got Wanganeen there for support. Wider towards Kingsley. Barker gives chase. Kingsley in front of the scoreboard here at Football Park. Short. And a little finger tipper taken by Josh Franco.
I reckon the first 10 minutes will tell the story of this match, Sandy. If the Hawks can rebound and get some early goals, they're going to be very tough to drag back.
Bishop comes wider to Paulton from half-back. He looks up towards centre wing. They want to mark, and Derek Murray spent time on the bench, but he's paid the football on that occasion. Flicks it quickly in towards full forward. Clean bowls Treadray and also Jonathan Hay. Treadray tried to sock it off the ground, but instead he's taken towards the line and over for a throw-in.
And Sandy, it looks like Port Adelaide are going for a smaller defence into this breeze. We've got Bode, Schofield, Murray and Burger, and all good, quick, crumbing players at ground level, with Treadray and French, 2 bigger players in their forward line.
Wilson, interesting hand pass. Schofield, a snap. Jared Schofield, one behind, 6'8".
It's a critical quarter for Port Adelaide. Hawthorn with the use of the breeze. If they can increase their lead, they're going to put all sorts of pressure on Port Adelaide at three-quarter time. If Port Adelaide can hold into the breeze, coming home with it, the pressure will be back on Hawthorn.
Critical quarter from a season's perspective too. I think Mark Williams rightly made the point that they're only one down on matches they expected to win, but this would be one they would have penciled in.
Taylor from centre wing after taking a bounce to right half forward. That's a great mark by Ben Dixon. The lead is on from Crode. He's got an open goal square. He can give it to Daniel Chick, who can blast away. That's exactly what he did. In towards full.
Daniel Harford.
What a way to celebrate your 100th game, Daniel Harford.
Oh, you could see it coming. He had plenty of space. Launched now. Didn't quite get the ride, but the pressure and the momentum of the body forcing Montgomery forward, and the ball fell beautifully into his arms. He can take a big grab, though. He's such a beautifully balanced and skilled player. You're expecting him to do something special.
I don't think he's far from maturing as to the player that most people expected him to be at this stage. He's been on that half-back line, but he's gone into the middle in the last few weeks and been a dominant force for them.
22 years of age.
Oh, he's at the post.
You've given him the mighty ramp. He's taken one of the marks of the season, and then he's slammed the Sharon into the woodwork.
Well, of course, one of the problems with taking a big mark, it is such a rush that you have to be immediately focused on the kick, and some players don't get down in time.
Never so experienced at Sandy.
But I know that Graham has. I was going to say is that his problem with his kicking. One of the great high marks. But anyway, the bottom line is it's a behind. Salmon also was behind there, but he affected the spoil. Schofield in front, tried to push it forward. They lose it towards Taylor. Taylor gets clear and he just pokes it over to the outer side. Hawthorn have the numbers. Vandenberg is there.
Oh, they've got numbers everywhere too, but this is going to slow them down.
Salmon is loose.
Ball's got to come
It's going to come back.
These Hawthorn players are running from everywhere to create opportunities.
Salmon's matched up, so they now go longer. And not a lot there. Barnaby French gives it to his co-big man in Primus. Primus looked up towards left half forward. Murray a target.
Oh, that's a good mark.
Derek Murray is on the left half forward flank.
Luke McCabe did nothing wrong, but Derek Murray kept his eyes on the ball.
Interesting, he's obviously found OJ's glove.
I'm glad someone has. Murray in towards full forward.
Yes.
And 2 grabs. That could almost be 50 to Primus.
Well, that's great work from Matthew Primus, because it was him that kicked the ball down to Derek Murray. And he's just pushed on into that forward line, much as you were talking about early in the term, Graham, or early in the match. And he's been able to grab the mark. He's just got to go back and convert.
Well, I've been most impressed with his last couple of games. He's struggled to come back from that knee injury. He's working back into it. Surprisingly, Paul Salmon in that contest was with him. He couldn't spoil.
Primus just inside 40. Starts at left.
Doesn't like it.
Well, he doesn't give himself much of an opportunity. If we get a look chance on a replay, you just notice that he holds the ball with the 2 hands and wobbles it from side to side as he's going in.
But it's a problem with Port Adelaide, Jared. If you look at their results, they've missed too many easy goals.
Barry Young in from the side. Pushed towards the line by Crawford. Over. Pressured by Kingsley and Schofield. Pretty quiet night for Crawford at the moment. Would have done the job on him. Franco had it and lost it. Could have been held. Young couldn't get through. Schofield gets away from Taylor. Short little kick. It passes Vanderbilt. What play by Derek Murray to Fabian Francis. That was absolutely sensational. And Bove now has the chance to finish off some excellent work.
Watch that. That's a beautiful tap on. Fabian Francis receives it from Derek Murray, sees Matty Bode, and these small players in Port Adelaide's forward line just creating some concern for the Hawthorn defence.
And I think there was a line ball, but it was more of a tap than a scoop. It was tremendous. A good decision by the umpire.
Quick kick for Bode. 30 metres out. He's made no mistake. Port hang on. Bode gets his first for the night. Port get their first and the first for the third quarter.
Well, he's a good little player, Matthew Bode. He works so hard to get around the board. Now just watch this ball coming forward. Derek Murray, not quite balanced, but the flick out to Fabian Francis, he works so well with him. His awareness to get the ball to Bode. And for the left footer, a pretty good kick.
Seven points now the margin after Bode has his first goal. Primus and Salmon set to go at it again. It's won by Salmon. Can't take it out of the middle initially. It comes back to Primus. He's flattened over the football. Umpire allows it to go on for just a few extra seconds before calling on a truce.
Derek Murray taking the ball 3 times into the 50. He put Adelaide's 50 in this start of this early stage of the third quarter.
One of those excitement machines, Cornsey, isn't he, Murray?
And he hasn't had much football either. He played 2 weeks ago in an under-19 match here in South Australia.
And a blood rule, Daniel Harford coming off.
Not that he is under-19.
I was just going to say that's good for a 20-year-old.
No, but his local SA NFL team had a bye, so they allowed him to go back and play in an under-19 match.
Rock just coming on for Daniel Harford while he receives some cleaning up because of the blood rule. Still in the middle of Football Park, 7 points favouring Hawthorn. Montgomery came over the top. Chick is claimed. Primus was smothered. Beautiful play by Daniel Chick. Follows it up and sneaks away. Can he finish it off with a pass? Not quite, but the pressure now is on the Port defence. Wanganeen needs assistance. Gets it from Paxman. There has been a whistle.
Yeah, the push was played against for Gavin Wanganeen against John Barker.
You would think in pre-match planning, though, that players bringing the team into a forward line would be instructed only if it's a certainty to kick it towards Gavin Wanganeen. He's so good at spoiling. It's a good mark from Jared Polton.
And a great shepherd from Michael Wilson to take Shane Crawford out of the play.
Did it very well. Polton on the defensive side of centre. A big pack gathers. Plenty of flyers. No one's able to take the mark. Kick goes towards the line and Murray can't keep it in.
They're away to have it bounced up for him instead of running away from him. In the testing time, Hawthorn have made the contest.
Just get the feeling, Cornsey, that no one side is going to break away and take this game by the throat. It's one that could go right down to the wire. The Graham hand pass is okay to Crawford, who tries to keep it in towards Barker. He got a hand to it. There'll be a throw in. Right on centre wing. Not a full house here at Football Park tonight. Probably around the 24,000 mark.
Pretty healthy crowd, though, Cornsey. There's been a bit on in Adelaide over the weekend.
Sunday night, and for weather that looked to be rather inclement. Anyway, Rock takes it away from Colliker and goes to the outer side, finding Graham. Daniel Chick breaks away, but can he get clear of Polton? Polton is a real little terrier. Chick goes again. He's got to beat a couple, and he does very well. Needs assistance. Gets it from Joel Smith, who bends it round the body towards Barker.
Oh, good vision.
This was a great ball to win by Daniel Chick, though. Young Polton did a pretty good job, but went to ground. And Chick's won some important balls for the Hawks tonight. Gary Buckenara was talking about hard ball gets. Well, I think Daniel Chick would be up there in possessions won for the Hawks.
Just enough room on that flank for Barker to get away from Darren Mead. The kick from Joel Smith. Superb.
He's had a quiet night. Coming in for only his 4th kick. He's got one behind at the moment. And he has now added to that with another.
The wind's still causing some problems down there.
An 8-point ball game. As Paxman goes down the centre. Barnaby, French and Graham. At the back is Schofield. Tried to sock it off the ground but had a fresh air. Thought he was at Augusta. French again goes. Primus. Montgomery. Bang! Runs into a brick wall. Primus followed it up. Slews off the side of the boot. Which way is it going to bounce? Rawlings hopes one way. Burgoyne hopes another. He continues to go. He's running out of room. Close to the line. Pulls it back. McCabe got a hand to it. Oh, here's Primus taking the hand pass, getting it back to Schofield. Back to Primus. Ducked his head like a tractor. Almost lost it. Trent Ray says, where is it? And finally sees it over the line.
Yeah, well, Port Adelaide overusing the ball, and they just weren't able to escape the pressure, the relentless pressure of the running Hawthorn defenders getting back there. Matty Primus tried to do too much.
It's like a front row, wasn't he? Just charging, going for the line. Just have a look at this, see if it comes off the boot of Shane Crawford.
Not quite.
Not quite.
It's the old maxim, never handball to a ruckman. They always want it, but never handball to them.
Kevin Bartlett obviously played with 17 ruckmen. It's all side the Tigers back in the 70s.
Well, there's few ruckmen that have got that explosive balance. They're okay when they wind up, but in close.
French going for a roundhouse right, but it's Salmon. Kicks them clear only for a moment.
50.
Yeah. Is it going to be 50?
It's a pretty fair body slam.
It would be a fairly savage penalty if it was.
Montgomery.
Oh, it's turned it over.
What? Well.
Well, we'll have to look closely at that. Could not possibly see what happened.
Must have got the standing count.
Gee, that could be so costly.
It wouldn't have
Rawlings now.
It wouldn't have been mouthing off at the umpire, would it?
Well, it could have been. Yeah. Still on the half-back flank. Kicks in towards the middle. It's marked by Murray. What's wrong, Graham?
I'm just trying to work out why that ball was turned over. We think it might have been contact by the player with the ball on the player standing to mark.
Where?
Schofield to Kingsley. Marks just inside 50.
In a very delicate area.
Oh. Montgomery, well, he's going to have another crack at it.
Have a shot.
He's gone short again, and Jonathan Hay will make him pay.
He wasn't clean. Now, here's a replay of the turnover here. We see Brett Montgomery with the ball getting up. He swung the right arm back. Oh, a rather delayed reaction, I thought, from Johnson. Nothing.
But Port Adelaide, I mean, if you supported them in the last 5 minutes, you'd be just asking, is anybody in the forward line prepared to take a shot at the goal?
There has to be a standing rule. If you're inside 50, you've got to have a kick for goal.
Other Western Bulldogs, when Chris Grant was having a few problems, just made the point, made the rule. If you are inside forward 50, it's your inside forward 50. It's your responsibility. Slip me hold on the teeth to go back, mark the ground, upset the curators, and ping at the goals. And you just get the feeling something like that has to happen here at Port Adelaide. Too many players just willing to give the ball away.
Crawford gives it to Taylor, and he's got Tallis almost down on centre wing. Aidan Tallis is clear, and Daniel Chick says go. Does the shepherding, then comes inboard. That was interesting. Chick may have to tidy up here, or at least help him. Chick goes against Polton. Still he goes, Daniel Chick. Well played. Goes around the body. Kicks it up towards the 50. Smash towards the line. Smith, Dixon, and eventually over goes Gavin Wanganeen. We've got to throw in.
You can just see the advantage of Daniel Chick's weight work over the summer. He's thrown young Jared Polt off the ball a number of times just by flexing the muscles. And he really has worked very diligently in that area.
Barker tried to find Smith. Now he's got Taylor, who's got Crawford. Centering ball into half forward. Salmon, that was interesting. Rock at the back. Down he goes. Primus just held the ball for a moment before giving it away to Montgomery, and they're out of the danger zone again for the moment. Burgoyne copped the shove, and he's also copped the free kick. A few ironical cheers from this pro-Port crowd.
Daniel Harford, who came off for a bit of blood work attention, is just ready to come back into the fray.
Kingsley into half forward. Who's at the back? No push given. Crawford and co will tidy up to Joel Smith, almost down to centre wing. He goes wide up towards right half forward. Crode's come a long way out. Here's Trent Crode, only got to get past Polton. Does so and floats a pass in towards half forward. The mark is taken by Barlow.
Back to Crode.
A little too easily. Trent Crode, 45 out. Yeah. Oh, he thought about going over the top to Chick too.
And no Port Adelaide defender was near him for about the last minute.
He's got the breeze behind him. He's just got to go confidently. Port Adelaide have had plenty of opportunity. They're wasting the ball going forward, and the pressure and the intensity of the Hawthorn team causing the turnovers.
Big fish coming off for a rest. I suppose Gornsey will be a bit concerned about that wind bouncing off the stands down there.
He'll be right. Just put it up at the left-hand post.
3 already to Trent Crowe.
There it is.
Make that 4. All at that end of the ground. Trent Crowe has his 4th. Hawthorn have their 9th. And managing to hold this 14-point lead that they enjoyed at quarter time and also at half-time.
Well, he finds himself by himself surprisingly, and he's the full forward. You'd think the full-back would be right alongside him unless he's been caught out. He's certainly provided a willing foil and a great alternative to the injured Holland.
Just under 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Port need a couple in a hurry. Primus ducked his head, but he was still able to give it away to Kingsley, who kicks to half forward. Graham just plucked it in with a one arm. Magnificently done. Wider to Rock, who sneaks away from Montgomery. He thought about playing on. Now he goes to the outer side, looking for Stephen Road, and he's got the big fella. He comes back to Rock. Pops it over the top. Hawthorn look in control as he gives it to Graham, who looks up towards the centre, and Michael Collicker.
Gee, they are using the ball well.
They're away now. Collicker to put them inside 50. Big pack of players. Dixon and co waiting at the back. Wanganeen is there. Spins out of trouble and gives it to Paxman. Stephen Paxman. Well, he's headed for the boundary line. Whether he makes it's interesting because there were 3 Hawthorn players there, and that was all, and here they are. With Vandenberg inside 50 once again. They need a mark. Crowe had the spoil in the end, pushing it down in front. Here goes the Brownlow medalist. Bang! And he goes to ground and he loses it. Daniel Chick has got to beat a couple. Around the body he goes. It's tight and it's pressure. And it's picked up by Barlow, and he's kicked a goal for the Hawks.
Well, it is simply the running pressure here of Hawthorn. There's no clean possession at all. Port Adelaide under all sorts of pressure in their defence, but the pressure of Hawthorn with Crawford here. One just slips over, goes to give the ball, but there's enough players around. Chick, who has been magnificent, says, get out of the way. And the kick again wasn't accurate, but nevertheless, Barlow able to pounce on it, hook it around. That could be the match-breaking goal.
20 points now the margin in favour of the Hawks.
And Port Adelaide made a few changes in their forward lines too.
Road doing the ruck work, tries to get it out. Not successful. Wilson, little kick towards the half-forward line. Hawthorn defence knitting together pretty well at the moment, though. Collicker's kick comes up towards the centre wing area. Over the line it goes in front of Richard Taylor.
His Primus came off. French went onto the ball. Chad Corns has gone into the forward line. And Danny Morton has also come on for Matthew Bode, as you can see there.
He's over the footy.
Yeah. And he lets it go for Harford to bring it out to Vandenberg, who's picking up plenty of touches. 14 possessions for Vandenberg. Across the ground he goes. Murray gives it away. Here's a chance now for Montgomery as he takes the hand pass. Looks up towards the 50. Where's Treadray? He's at the back. Gave a little bit of a nudge, and the umpire says that's okay. Treadray's 55 out at least. There's an open goal square. He goes long. It's going to be close. A couple of Hawks there getting back on the last line of defence. Happy to concede a behind.
Well, I think Warren Treadray's got to go back and reassess that situation. You're 55 metres out from goal. There's very few players can go back off a couple of steps and kick that bomb. He's ignoring some opportunities up in that full forward line that presented themselves because he wasn't getting back quick enough and ready enough to get the ball in.
Another blood rule, have we? Yes. Taylor or Vandenberg cuts.
Richard Taylor.
Taylor and Richard.
And Aaron Lord coming back on.
This is a critical stage for both teams here.
19 player to come on with fresh legs too, Sandy, Aaron Lord. Got some tricks, can kick some goals.
Tallis is
definitely pushes forward.
He can go short to Graham. That's exactly what he does. Still in the back pocket. He's got another couple of options. One is Colica. Pops it over the top to McCabe and Luke's away. Kicks in towards Chick. He snared it nicely. Now, he had to beat 4, and you wouldn't believe it, he has. Sensational. Up towards full forward. Bishop under the pump, gives it to Wanganeen on the last line of defence. He has that customary quick bounce, and then tries to blast it clear, but it doesn't travel very far. The Hawks are in the chance through Anthony Rock once again.
In the
he
goal
gets
square.
it to Barker. Barker goes in towards full forward. Polden's got to come and try and spoil, and he does. And Port just get out of trouble for the moment there.
Good work by Jared Polden, but the pressure there came from Barlow as he was chasing Gavin Wanganeen. You wouldn't think he could catch him, but he put enough pressure on to cause that turnover across Port Adelaide's half-back line.
Bishop shows his dash. Brings them out to Mead on half-back. He's called to play on now. First one way, then the other, and finally to Fabian Francis.
Blind kick under pressure.
Morton was the target.
McCabe
does the tidying up. The advantage is going to be paid. Go on, they say. Go on, and he does. To Aaron Lord, who's got Joel Smith wide if he wants him. But he elects to go straight down the middle. Chick is one of them. Crawford is there also. Chick cleverly to Crawford. If it sits, he's in business. He needs help now. Back towards Aaron Lord. Still 50 out. Caught by Polden, and he's got to be pinged. Great tackle.
Jared Polden's having a really good battle with Daniel Chick, but he will not give up. You'd say Chick has had the advantage, but Polden has done a couple of very good goal-saving efforts in the last few minutes.
Lyle also called to play on. Round the body towards Barnaby French on centre wing. Couldn't take the mark. Picked up by Tallis and kicked high towards centre wing. Barker's away. What's he got down forward? He's got plenty, because Trent Crode is all alone. He's got a player at half forward screaming for it.
I think Jared Polden, despite his good efforts, Corns, he's just about spent his petrol tickets. He is just going up and down on the one spot. Daniel Chick, who's done a pretty good job at being another leading forward and almost a smaller mobile centre-half forward at times, has worked him into the ground.
Trent Crode, 5 marks, 7 kicks and 4 goals. Oh, he's listened to Graham Corns, and he's listened very, very well.
Yes, well, he put Adelaide runner out to Paxman, and he's trying to say, where were you? I think Stephen Paxman has run down the ground to try and create. The ball's turned over. And you watch when it comes out here, Trent Crode is by himself. No player within cue of him. Barker does well, just to shake Darren Mead there. Turns around, and where is Stephen Paxman? The dilemma that a backman has, whether to run off and create or to stay and negate.
26 points now the margin. The most we've had in this match so far, and Port fans are not happy. Franco can't take it cleanly. Murray was in there, but he couldn't get it. French gives it back to Kingsley. They want goals, and they want them badly. In towards half forward. They've got 2 3/4 minutes in this quarter to do something. Corns got caught, tried to get the hand pass clear. He did towards Morton, down towards full forward. Again, the Hawks have the numbers. Harford can go out the back door, and he does to Vandenberg. Puts up the one hand and it sticks. You've got to play on though, Richard. Over the top to Harford. Another one over the top and they clear. They can set up an attack here. Graham lopes out of defence, looks up towards half forward. They need a mark. They haven't got it, but they've got the players waiting down. Crawford soccers off the ground. It's a good soccer too, gaining some of 50 metres. Aaron Lord has spent a lot of time on the bench, but he can kick a valuable goal. He misses to the right.
Well, he speared it in, but he speared it to the wrong side. And Brett Montgomery on the other side, he was in the dilemma also. Did he go to the ball advancing down to the ground or stay back on the player he went forward and came over his head, and Hawthorn attacked quite easily.
Mead in front. Crawford waits down, gives it back towards Barker. He lets fly with a high punt. It's away to the right. Polden can't get an effective spoil at it. Joel Smith caught under the pack and over the line.
Yes, the hard ball gets him interesting. This quarter, Hawthorn 12, Port Adelaide 6. You heard Gary Buckenhauer talking about that at half-time, saying they had to lift their work rate in that area.
Bishop A high ball. Big pack underneath it. No one able to read it. It was a difficult one. Pushed towards the line. Picked up by Wilson, and he kicks up towards centre wing. Port fans thought Burgoyne might have got a free kick back there, but it wasn't to be. Franco, off the boot it goes, and it ricochets over the line on the full.
There's a case for that rule to come in if in that situation. If it's not a legal distance, it shouldn't be a free kick.
Colliker up to right half forward once again. Harford taken high. Now, this is a critical minute 20 or so, because if the Hawks get another one here, it's going to be tremendously hard for Port to get back into this game. Wanganeen goes back towards the centre. Tallis is the effective spoiler. There's brown and gold everywhere at the moment. Here's Graham. From a standing start, he pumps towards half forward. Wanganeen tackle, gives the ball to Paxman in a hurry. He goes out wide towards Murray. Couldn't take it cleanly at the first attempt. The old one-glove trick, and he's got to beat two players. The advantage is paid. Up towards Barlow he goes, and he takes the mark at left half forward. Hawthorn doing the bulk of the attacking. Barlow's kick is long. Crode likes to fly. Got a hand at the back. Chick is there as well. Too late, and it's another behind.
With Derek Murray manhandled on the outer wing there, you would have thought perhaps the free kick, but Hawthorn, you have to congratulate them, their intensity and their willingness to run to the contest to create the turnover. And Daniel Chick is so alert, so vibrant in that forward line.
28 points the margin. Paulton takes the kick in. 28 seconds remaining in the quarter. Port are going to be coming home with the breeze, but they're going to need probably more than that. They're going to take the points. Schofield recovers well. Looks up towards centre wing, looks towards Treadray. Effectively spoiled. Aaron Lord, a nice little one-handed pickup. Gives it off to McCabe. Pops it over the top in front of Harford. If it sits, he could be in business. He is. A beautiful little sidestep, but the siren has sounded just in time, maybe, as Daniel Chick takes the mark. It is three-quarter time here at Football Park. An excellent quarter of football by Hawthorn. They kicked 3 goals, but more importantly, they restricted Port Adelaide to just 1. They've opened up a 28-point lead, Joe. Final quarter. Hawthorn in the box seat. Port, however, kicking with the breeze, and judging by the flags, it appears to have increased in velocity, perhaps a touch. Montgomery is ripped off the football. He's got to get a free kick. So it'll be the power to go into attack first up in this final quarter. Goes short, and that's okay. Gives it to Schofield. More penetrating kick in towards Treadray. Caught between 2 Hawthorn players. He's forced to defend. Hay could have gone short to Harford, but elects to go longer to Barker. He's got Barlow at the back of him. They've only got to surge it forward to Barlow, and they're in the van. But Wilson has other ideas. And there's a throw-in on the outer side.
Because it seems pretty obvious that the policy of the Hawks this quarter is just going to be get extra men in defence, block up Warren Treadray. He'd have to kick 3 or more goals for them to win this match, you'd think.
And it doesn't have to be pretty, Jared. That's the tricky part. It's as ugly and as crowded and congested as you can make it, the better chance they have of winning the game.
Here's Graham. Defending across half-back. Chick has been an absolute live wire for the Hawks. Goes out wide towards left half forward. Crawford plucks it out of the air beautifully, then plays on. Hawthorn are inside 50, and I tell you what, they're playing confident football at the moment.
Yes, and Shane Crawford's had his hands full, of course, with his tag, but he's continued to work hard. And Richard Taylor pushing forward out of the centre of the ground, creating the space, creating the opportunity, and it's not going to be an easy kick from here because the breeze is coming over his left shoulder, but it's certainly kickable. Taylor's had 17 possessions, Harford's had 19, and both are celebrating their 100th game in style. Kicking from 43 metres. It's a lovely looking kick by Richard Taylor. That could be a nail in the Port Adelaide coffin. There's no doubt about that. If Port Adelaide were going to take control of this game and use the breeze, they had to kick the first couple. Hawthorn have responded extremely well. It stretches their lead to just over 5 goals. And whilst the game is not out of reach, it makes it very, very difficult for Port Adelaide. They've restructured their forward line again. French, Treadray and Harwood, the bigger players in there with Murray, Morton and Burgoyne. But it's not the forward line, it's the midfield and defence. Defenders under pressure aren't running, the midfielders aren't winning enough of the ball.
And I think the performance of Crawford, despite being beaten early, has been an important one because he's kept on working and kept on burrowing in, and he's ended up with 20-odd possessions.
Yep, certainly has. He's still got a quarter of footy to go. Still Franco, look at that aggression by Hawthorn. Perhaps a little too much on that occasion.
That wasn't disciplined. That wasn't smart, because you've got the advantage now. You're giving a fairly easy opportunity into the 50-metre area.
Crowd tonight of 22,083. They'd be very disappointed with that, although it has been a huge weekend of sport here in Adelaide as Lyle flicks it round his body, goes up towards full forward, and Colliker smashes it over the line. But that, in actual fact, is the smallest crowd that Port has drawn here at Football Park. They had a couple of disappointing ones, 24,459 against Brisbane.
Sandy, I think given the weather today in the centre of Adelaide and as you mentioned, the events, I think 22,000, they're quite happy with that.
Yeah, I think considering, of course, you've had the car race that has drawn hundreds of thousands, you've got to bear that in mind. Franco over the top, and he quickly asked the question, but the ball was got out. The Vandenberg hand pass a little proppy. Harwood tried to flick it back towards Polden. He's under the pump. Back to Harwood once more. Gee, they're saying, how close to the line can we go? Well done by Harwood. It's straightening up. It's into full forward. They need a mark. They need tread rate. They need something. He was there, but he can't do anything with it. Colliker takes it towards the line. Tallis sees it over, and there's a throw in.
Sandy, Graham mentioned earlier they need tread rate to take a mark, but last week they kicked 22 goals, 11, I think their second highest score ever. And it was players like Burgoyne who had 5 goals. Tread rate didn't get any goals till late in the game. It was the running players that scored.
Yes, but Hawthorn have been able to look at that tape, Abba. They've done their homework extremely well. They had to have another avenue to goal, or other various avenues to goal. You couldn't count on that happening again this week.
Salmon to Harford, to Barker, to Tallis.
Hawthorn have just closed them down with their ferocity and their intensity and their alertness. I mean, they haven't won it through superior skill.
But Graham, you look at some running players, Brett Montgomery, Jared Schofield, Peter Burgoyne. These players haven't got a goal. They should be expected to kick 1 to 2 goals a week.
Brett Montgomery, it's an interesting one. He was recruited as a goal kicker. My understanding is he got just 16 goals last year. So he doesn't even average 1 goal a week, Abba, and he's got 5 at the moment from 5 matches. So
here's another possession for Shane Crawford, taking it from Young, centering it in towards half forward. Big packer player. It was Mead who smashed it clear, but only for a moment. Joel Smith tumbles it back deep into the forward zone. Careful here for the power because Crawford's got it. He's inside 50, slips on the surface, gives it back to Vandenberg. What a tackle. Had the one hand pinned. There was nothing he could do. It was an outstanding tackle.
Shane Crawford having trouble with the
look at that,
the turf, but that was a tremendous tackle. If you can claim the hand, you're halfway there.
Treadray almost claimed the ball. Vandenberg did well at the second attempt to slap it to McCabe, who gives it to Young, who goes short. That's okay, finding Barlow. Now Salmon had either Rawlings and Hay. There's every player in one half of the ground bar 2. Towards Chick, couldn't take it cleanly. It might come back to him again. Dixon came charging out as if there was no tomorrow. Now are forced to apply the tackle. Daniel Chick again, around the body. He deserves a goal. He's played so well. Kicks in towards full forward. And it's smashed towards the line by Paxman. If that had been another foot to the left, he would have been pinged for a deliberate out of bounds. Instead, of behind goes on the ball.
You can see when a team is confident and alert, and Hawthorn players sense they've got this game if they can maintain their enthusiasm and their energy. And it's not hard to do that when you can see the performances that they're putting on out here.
Paxman, the wanger man.
Just going back to the crowd, I think if you put a game on that starts after 8 o'clock on Sunday night, you're going to be robbed of 4 or 5, maybe more thousand people, because families just go.
Look, it wasn't their fault. The South Australian state government approached the AFL. This game was originally scheduled on a Sunday afternoon. Paul Salmon recovering from a fairly heavy knock there.
Gee, that would really knock the wind out of his sails here.
The knee right in the back too. But going back to the game time, the government didn't want the game of football clashing with the Clipsal 500 race here in Adelaide, so they requested the AFL to move it back. They did. And it's really been to Port Adelaide's disadvantage, I think.
Could they have moved it to Friday night, Graham, perhaps?
Friday night's a good night, but they're starting at 7 o'clock, really. That 8:10 is a bad time.
I reckon Paul Salmon will be feeling that one for the next month.
Young kicks down towards the forward line. Danger here as it's socket off the ground, but only for a behind.
He will need surgery to extract the knee from his back.
Well, that's dangerous too. The kid, well, he's pushed the trainers away. He said, let's get on with it.
Ben Dixon unable to add to his goal tally of 2. 53 plays.
So Port Adelaide stop-start here, Josh Frankie. You've got to take a chance. You've got to play on. You've got to get the ball moving quickly through the centre.
Straight to Salmon.
Who couldn't take it, but Crawford will the whisk stuff there. Put his teammate under the pump, so he goes again. Shane Crawford, look at him. Sockers it off the ground and finds Barry Young.
Who surprisingly started this quarter in the centre of the ground.
Young goes wide to the outer wing, finding Barker. He can go on with it here, Johnny Barker. And he does, because Taylor is down on right half forward, just outside 50. Richard Taylor can find Michael Collicker.
Well, he's a half-back flanker.
Well, this could be a special moment for him.
And Hawthorn are throwing caution to the wind. They're pushing everybody forward. They're running, and the Port Adelaide opponents are not closing them down. They're not working hard enough. Paul Salmon coming off now.
Collicker hasn't kicked a goal as Salmon leaves the ground. He's got 3 behinds for the year to his name. He'll want a public holiday if he kicks this. It's not a bad kick. It is not a bad kick, and the Hawthorn could well have a public holiday.
Nothing hurts a team more than half-back flankers streaming forward, taking marks and kicking goals. And it just sums up the Hawthorn performance tonight. They've just pushed. We see Taylor, who's run forward. Where's his opponent?
Had a good game, Richard Taylor. Was dropped a couple of weeks ago, but he's back tonight.
Derek Murray, the half-forward flanker, just wallowing along in his wake there. And the kick straight into the breeze, really. It had to be good, and it was.
Michael Collicker gets his first goal for the season. And just his 4th in his entire career. Big reasons for celebration. Besides Harford and Taylor's 100th. And there goes the combination again. On fire. McCabe sweeps it wide. They're out of trouble. A kick that is partly smothered. Schofield may get a chance. It eludes him. Port would be so disappointed with this performance tonight. They're going to get a chance here to add. But after the performance last week,
Jonathan Hayes saying, look, I was going for the ball, give me a break, but hands all over Barnaby French, and umpire right in position to see it.
Last week, when they accounted for Brisbane by 43 points, there was certainly a reason for optimism. But Hawthorn has gone a long way towards dashing that tonight. As I speak, Corns is back on the ground, and Josh Franco is off. Barnaby French. That's the story of the night for Port.
Well, it's the story of their year, really, Sandy. They're kicking for goal from set shots like that. It's cost them dearly.
No, the Port players are playing like beaten. I mean, there's 14 or 15 minutes left, but they've it almost looks like they've just given up. 40
points the margin.
It's probably a discredit to the Hawthorn intensity.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. Chick is one of those players in particular. He's been sensational. He spots a player in the middle of the ground in Joel Smith, and he lopes clear as only Joel can. Putting them inside 50 once again. Little too far for Crow. Wanganeen's got to tidy up at the back, and he comes wider to Paulton. Steadies and goes to centre wing. Not a good kick. Graham couldn't get Primus initially, but he's got backup support in the form of Stephen Road, who takes him to the ground, and there'll be a bounce.
But not a discredit to Hawthorn. Their intensity has been fantastic. They weathered the Port storm in the 3rd quarter, but just the body language from the power plays, it is because of Hawthorn, and they've got 15 minutes to play out, and they just can't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
Where there's life, there's hope, Abba.
Oh, dear.
Well, there hasn't been any lightning. That's the one blessing for the game.
They've got Carlton next week as Primus kicks them towards the 50. That'll be a sobering thought. Tread rate taken high, and May gets to about get 50.
He's battled hard, Warren Treadray, but is he full forward? Is he centre half forward? There's been obviously a difficulty with that This will be his 10th kick, 4 marks. 3's behind him.
Well, he should have kicked 5 goals tonight, Warren Treader. I think they'd be pretty pleased with his performance, and he should be. He's going to always have to rotate through that forward line. His kick, he's let him down. Can he get this one?
Distance will be the problem. Goes into the square, and Shane Crawford quite content to give them a behind.
So we've seen a lot of that, haven't we, the last week or so? Players just turning around and kicking the score for the opposition.
Flavour of the month, isn't it?
Gavin Wanganeen, is that ominous? Because he hasn't been bad.
Well, just Franco also off. I just you have to assume from that Mark Williams thinks the game's gone as well, and he's just trying to look for something for the other youngsters.
Runs out of room, John Barker on the outer side. Still 10.5 minutes remaining.
6 goals.
Just over. Primus from the back. Montgomery pushes forward. The tackling of Hawthorn has been outstanding right from the outset. Here's a chance in towards the middle. And the mark taken by Hay, who's on the centre of football. He goes long, up towards the 50. Dixon was the target, almost pulled it in with the one hand, then shovel it forward. Barlow off the ground, go for it, and he scoops it up. Needs assistance now. Crode around the body as he kicked another one. Trent Crode has. Goal number 6 to Trent Crode. And this is rapidly developing into a very one-sided affair.
Well, I think Peter Swab would be elated today. This would have to be his best victory as a coach. He's set himself and his team and his club for the Sunday night affair. They've had all weekend to sit at home and think about it and plan, and they would have been rocked somewhat by the knowledge that Nick Holland wasn't coming over to Adelaide to enjoy the festivities. But Trent Holland, he's taken the punt and he's got him at 4-4.
14-16, they hit the ton. They lead by 45 points, Hawthorn. And there's no Nick Holland in this Hawks lineup tonight. He's a late withdrawal. Coming in was Luke McFarlane, who kicked a goal with his first kick in footy in the second quarter. Great moment for the young man. Murray was at the bottom of that pack. Here's Corns. Flicking it in towards goal, but there's a couple of Brown and Golds there, and they combine. Graham and Hay, the two key defenders. Hay now bounces his way towards half-back. He's clear up towards centre wing, but Wilson's dropping back, and he takes a good mark. So they're back in towards attack again, the Power. Inside 50, Corns comes over the top, but he can't take the mark. Tallis changes direction of the game by coming to Crawford on the outer side. Didn't try and mark, just tried to flick it down to Vandenberg. He comes over the top again looking for Crawford. Finds the boundary line, we've got to throw it.
And Vandenberg also has been an excellent player for the Hawks, and I think his added pace has been something that's given the Hawks a little bit more electricity around the packs. He's hit the ball hard, and he's really pulled his weight in the hard ball get division.
Primus wins it. Colliker takes it to Crawford. Another hand pass on the last line of defence. That's going to be out of bounds on the full. Disappointment there for Jade Rawlings. And an opportunity for Jared Schofield.
Well, don't think about it. Just put it to the top of the square. And of course now the opportunity is lost.
He's 48 metres out. He is putting it out in front. There's a huge pack of players, and the umpire has picked out a free kick. It's going against Port Adelaide.
He said
that Colliker may take it.
He signalled a push, Sandy.
Michael Colliker on the last line of defence. Salmon looks to be moving okay now. I haven't said that. That was very interesting. He's all right. Look at that big bloke. He can have a wry smile. He said, I got one in the back a short time ago, but I've kicked 543 goals and I've played 290 games.
It's a long way from hand to boot.
Throw in again.
Hawthorn won't be concerned. It's not attractive, but it doesn't have to be attractive at all.
Optus Oval next week for the Power, Cornsey.
It's a big test for them too.
Burgoyne.
Big test for Carlton as well. They need a win.
Yeah, that's
the last
exactly
three.
right. Young, penetrating hand pass comes in towards the centre. Tallis, Chick, Crawford. They're all combining pretty well. They've got players loose on the outer side. There was 3 of them. Taylor was 1, and he's going to go back now to try and kick a goal. He had a loose player for a moment, and he's found him, so he won't. Graham's going to have a shot. The defenders are getting in the action.
No, it's Richard Taylor, particularly going forward. The power of his running between centre and half forward reminds you of Nathan Buckley's games this year, although Taylor hasn't had the defensive pressure that Buckley gets, but he's made a conscious effort to push forward to win his balls forward of centre. It's really hurt Port Adelaide.
Graham going for his 2nd for the night, and they're continuing on their Murray way now. Hawthorn, he's got it.
Mark Graham has been one of the best of the Hawks this evening. In fact, it's very difficult to find a poor Hawthorn player. But his figures have been quite superb. 25 possessions, and he's kicked 2 goals off that half-back line. Cornsey, I know you think he's almost worthy of one of the best 3 on the ground.
Yeah, well, there's going to be so many. I couldn't. I'm glad you're doing the votes, but he's been one of them.
Two goals to Graham, 6 to Trent Crowe, 2 goals to Ben Dixon. The multiple scorers for Hawthorn. Salmon out of the centre. It's taken away by Montgomery. He looks inside 50 for Port. A big pack and a strong mark taken by Treadway.
Well, he has stood tall. There's been immense pressure down there. And the Port Adelaide forward line is structured around him. He hasn't let them down, but one player in the forward line, unless it's perhaps Wayne Carey in North Melbourne's team, is not going to give you a consistently dominant forward line.
Treadway for his 4th. His first 3 have all come to this end of the ground. That is bending back. Not quite. Just a little too far left. He started that one round.
He didn't strike it properly at all.
56 plays 106. Even 50. Harford's going to leave this for McCabe, and he does. Gives it away to Barlow. That's not a pretty punt. Going back towards centre wing. Lord. Oh, the hand pass has put his teammate under the pump, and he's going to lose it here. Schofield shows a few of them the footy and then decides to kick it long himself up towards the 50. Corns and Treadway both waiting down in front. Crawford, clever little soccer off the ground. Forcing another throw in with under 6 minutes remaining.
There's a tremendous effort by Hawthorn. They've been under all sorts of pressure, but it is bitterly disappointing for Mark Williams and Port Adelaide. This is a game they absolutely had to win. Oh, he's picked one out of there.
Going the way of Salmon. '90th game, so all being well, later on in the season he's going to join one of the elite clubs in AFL football. That was almost out on the full. The Hawthorn boys just trying a little con job there on Peter Burgoyne.
Blood rule.
Well, Shane Crawford has worked his way into nearly 30 possessions, so for a bloke that didn't really get a sniff of it early in the piece, and he sat on the bench to, as Gary Buckenara said, compose himself. I think he's played a darn good captain's game under immense pressure, with Michael Wilson doing a pretty good job. He's kept working and he's got his numbers up, and he's played a significant role in the victory.
Here's Burgoyne around the body. High ball back towards the centre. Francis kicks it towards Murray. If it sits, the gloved one can go. And he does. The quick hand passes sweeping to Bode, who can kick a goal and break what has become a little bit of a drought.
Well, it's a quick rotation there for Port Adelaide. Matthew Bode coming onto the ground, and a kick from Fabian Francis. Port Adelaide players in front of him know when he gets the ball, they can move confident. It's a good mark. It's a nice little movement forward. Warren Treadway in front. Good work by Murray. Taps it out to Bode on his natural left leg. coming off the bench, pounces on that one, sees the goals, trying to just salvage some sort of respectability for this club.
2 goals to Matthew Bode. .44 points now the margin. Montgomery, the hand pass okay to the running Primus. Lopes up towards half forward, towards Barnaby French. Can't take it cleanly, but he was under the pump. There was real pressure on. Barry Young hustles and bustles his way towards the ball and the line. Deliberate, says the umpire. Barry says, I've still got
50
the
here, Barry, and away you go.
He got 50. He has.
It's a shocking rule. I mean, there's a case if there's vigorous abuse of an umpire, but remonstrating without expletives doesn't deserve a 50-metre penalty and a free shot at goal. Whoever's responsible for that has to have a close look at themselves. Well, the 50-metre penalty itself has to be under question. Now, the value of it, when it was first introduced, yes, there was a case for it. These days, you're seeing it for petty infringements. And now to think that the player...
Look at this again, Cornsey.
Well, he's tried to avoid it. He thinks he's done the right thing, but he does remember, he says, I've got the ball, I'm attacking the ball. There didn't appear to be any real vehemence or vigour in his protests, and a 50-metre penalty and a free shot at goal. I mean, umpires have to be able to accept that and be bigger than that. It's a pathetic option that they take there.
So a couple of quick ones to the power.
Do you get the feeling that Cornsey is not in favour of that rule?
I think he's tried to make his point. I think he's made it pretty well, really.
Cornsey's missed his invitation to the
And
umpire's
Barry
ball
Young
again.
is still chatting to an umpire. That's Derek Humphrey-Smith, I think. They go into attack towards Cornsey's son. He can't quite take the mark, but he picks himself up and he recovers and he kicks it straight up in the air, almost to himself, but he can't take it. Rawlings tries to go through. No one able to break away. Franco's hand pass okay. Out to Lyle. He finds some space and Schofield. Kick a goal, Jared. And he does. Three goals in as many minutes to Port.
Well, they made hard work of it, though. The ball coming with that Chad Corns in position. You don't actually see the mark. He spills it, gets to his feet, smothered again. The number of smothers that Hawthorn have had. Collicker working hard, Harwood working hard, and Josh Franco, who hasn't had a great day, gets the ball back to Braden Lyle. Good vision for Schofield.
Mark Harwood, good player.
Barker off the ground as Schofield
Too little, too late.
gets his first. Primus out of the middle. Chick got a hand to it, but nothing more. Schofield interfered with his opponent and has given away the free kick. And it's Barry Young.
Difficult to take much solace out of kicking late goals because when Hawthorn has expended so much energy in getting to the position they were in, they are entitled to just take the foot off the accelerator for the last 5 minutes.
Well, they mightn't have finished yet. It's still in their forward line and dangerous times because Aaron Lord picks it up and he floats it high towards Trent Crode. Almost held it. Back to Lord again. Good Lord. Has he kicked it?
Knows where they are.
He has.
He's one player who knows where the goals are. He's got good power in his legs. And whilst it wasn't clean for Hawthorn, just the pressure of players around the ball kept it in there until the player could break free. And just have a, there's Lord kicking it forward there.
Smart play by Crode off the ground here.
Gets it back to him. He waits. It came back to him, and he just dropped it on the bird. It's going to be a great win for Hawthorn.
Well, he's a player that struggled a little bit in this early part of the season. Went back to the seconds for a bit of a run, and but on a positive, the Hawks know what he can do, and if he can find his best form, is a real plus for the team.
Primus smashes it out, but Crawford is tackled and he loses the footy to McCabe, his teammate. That's okay, who gives it to Graham.
Star tonight.
Mark Graham?
Yep.
Certainly has. Wilson gives it away towards Bishop. Back towards Burgoyne on centre wing. Yeah, it's been a good night for him. It's been a good night for the two 100 gamers. And a number that have played well, always let one go. Burgoyne with a torp up towards half forward, but an excellent mark.
A couple of unheralded players also, as we noticed, a Port Adelaide player just went down behind play there, Cornsey. But Raiden Tallis, I think, has been an excellent player, as has Richard Vandenberg.
Here's Tallis now. That was a good mark by Rawlings.
You're going to find it very hard not to find a Hawthorn player who hasn't contributed to this. It has been a powerful running effort from them.
Chick has been very good. Stephen Rode, the boy from Haileybury, has come off the bench.
And often I think it just exposes the inadequacy of a 3-2-1 situation, a game like this, Cornsey, where it's difficult to distinguish between half a dozen to a dozen of the Hawks players.
Here's Barlow. Around the body he goes. Michael Collicker has run on down, but just runs out of room. No, he keeps it in play, and he beats a couple of them. Well done, Collicker. Back he goes to Barlow. In towards the forward line he goes. And still going is Dixon. Has a snap at goal, and it's just through for one behind.
Gee, it was very close. Just watch this. How close does Stephen Paxman get to it? That's got to be over.
That's
sure.
over the
That's
line.
over the line.
Must have gone behind the post.
Had to be beyond. Well, certainly over the line when he touched it.
Paxman, in the meantime, takes the kicking. Schofield lurking between half-back and centre wing. Wilson does the shepherding. Schofield's able to amble up towards centre wing and kick to half forward. Treadray,
is that enough?
Treadray flicks it back, but only as far as Jade Rawlings, who's taken a couple of very timely marks in the last couple of minutes. Graham to the outer side. The Hawks are well and truly home here inside the last minute. Taylor kicks to the outer wing. There lurking is the lumbering Joel Smith, and he goes up towards Aaron Lord and Fabian Francis. Neither could take it. Picked up by Daniels, and he spirals a punt up over the middle once again, and it's taken by Bode. He's a chance to go in towards Barnaby French. Slapped away from him. Porter looking very tired now. Muddy gives it away towards Franco. Josh Franco from 55 metres. Barnaby French has got to beat a couple. Rawlings was one, and he just was able to put it down in front, and his teammate can come away. And he does towards centre wing, towards Crawford. That was Jonathan Hay who brought it out of defence. They're ambling now to Barlow, just going through the motions, waiting for the siren. Here's McFarlane, the youngster who kicked the goal with his first kick-in footy, pushing it in towards the pocket. And there's the siren as Crow goes to the ground. A big and emphatic victory to the Hawthorn Football Club.
They did it so well. They came, they made the momentum of the game, they created the pressure, they stifled Port Adelaide, and when they had possession, they exploded. Despite Shane Crawford being well held early, they had too many contributors, too much pressure.
Let's go down to the boundary. Here's Abba.